Hello and welcome. Good day, Mike X Gaming. Good day, Las Vegas. Good to see you, Warships Live, and hello, Little Island. We're just starting now. Now, as always, down in the description is going to be a link to the patch notes if you wish to read the patch notes as we go along, and furthermore down there is the redeem code which is hidden within the patch notes. This will grant you 2 common containers and 12 Regimarina camouflages, I believe. So if that does interest you, it's all down there, and you've got a little bit of time now just to go grab them, or you can always do it at the end of the stream. As always, I'd like to encourage everyone to give the stream a thumbs up. No, we don't want to go straight to the exit yet. We'll actually crack on with the desktop stream. So, the Lions, 2 more segments on the Shimakaze. Ooh, personally, I don't like the Shimakaze, but that's because it usually torpedoes me to death with about 2 torpedoes because they do about 20,000 damage each. However, I'm sure you're probably going to enjoy the Shimakaze. Now, as I've probably alluded to in the chat, it is stifling hot here in the UK, and so I've turned the fan off. However, if it does get a bit warm, I might see if I can chance the fan back on. As always, shout it in the chat if the volumes are too loud, too quiet, or if there's too much feedback in the background as we go along, and we'll see how things go. So obviously, we have the background picture for the second anniversary patch. There's not really anything going on here. In fact, it's actually just an empty sea, which is quite amusing. Anyway, what do we know? Well, the patch is coming on the Monday the 26th, happening between 7 AM and 10 AM UTC. And it's size-wise, obviously, there's some slight differences here. Obviously, the PlayStation, it's 2 gig. For the Xbox Series, 2.5 gig and 2.7 gig, depending whether it's a 1 or a series. Yeah, I still don't get the Xbox naming conventions, but I'm not even sure Xbox players understand it these days. So obviously there's a little bit of a summary here, but basically it just says it's the second anniversary of World Warships Legends, at least the official launch anniversary. Furthermore, introducing some Tier 7 premium destroyers. That's the Z23 and the Paulo Emilio, and then also there's the Arpeggio Blue Steel collaboration. It says the famous manga and anime, but I haven't actually heard of it until World of Warships Legends, and I'm sure that it might not be as famous as they're making it. Sorry about the laptop background, obviously, because it's so hot, the laptop is having a little bit of a field day when it comes to trying to keep itself cool. So anniversary activities now, as I mentioned in Wales Weekly, there's this clue of what's arriving in August. It's pre-shore front. I thought pressure front, as in the idea of a new game mechanic, weather systems. I got it wrong. It's treasure hunt. Admittedly, I would have probably preferred to have the pressure front. However, treasure hunt in which everyone can earn some rewards, I'm sure that most people are going to enjoy, and that's happening during August. Apart from that, the other things they say is they're going to be giving out some freebies. I guess that'd be like a birthday present in regard to the 2 World Warships sales, deals, and other activities going on. So it seems like there's a lot of like background stuff. That's one thing I found incredibly amusing with the trailer that came out earlier today for this patch. The trailer didn't really cover anything. It was a very pretty firework display, but it didn't really talk about the patch, which I found incredibly interesting. Good morning, Pixel Mug. You must be stateside, so chin chin. Las Vegas, stay hydrated. I stay very well hydrated, so much the wife thought I was a diabetic at one point. I usually drink about 8 to 12 pints of water in a day. I just drink like a fish, which it's handy, I guess you could say. So obviously the campaign, we have the Shock and Awe campaign, which is introducing the ZF6, I should say. Now, obviously, it does talk about a bit of the history here, talking about that she's based on a French class destroyer. She brings a smoke generator, but it doesn't say whether it's British style or normal style. Probably normal style, I think. Offers apparently outstanding ballistics, decent AA suite, as well as it's got a main battery reload booster, and I think it's also got engine boost as well, which seems quite interesting. Now, this campaign is going to be running until August the 30th. and you basically each week of it, the weekly havoc is going to stay open throughout the entire duration. However, you have to complete the previous weeks before you can actually move on to the next weeks, which is quite an interesting one. Now, when it comes to the rewards, actually, I do have a nice little screenshot I can bring up, which is better if I can actually remember this one. There we go. That's a better full screen one. But yeah, this covers what obviously the campaign, 100 levels, 5 weeks to do it in, 2,500 doubloons buying cost in order to get the Amity backing. Without Amity backing, rewards-wise, you're looking at, skipping to the important ones, the ones that most people care about, 11 promotion orders, 1 insignia, 1 commendation. There's also quite a lot of what they're calling retro crates, but these are basically crates from previous events. So what you guys, 1 Secret Santa crate, 1 big crate, 1 big winter big crate, 1 summer big crate, and some patch backgrounds and patch symbols and German commander crate. Now, the value of the campaign without Amity backing is 16,500 doubloons. If you spend 2,500 doubloons, then you unlock Amity backing. And what would this give you in addition? Well, skim to the important stuff, 29 promotional orders, 4 insignias, 3 commendations, 750 doubloons. And then when it comes to the retro container stuff, you're looking at 2 Halloween 2020 crates, 1 Black Friday 2020 crate, 1 Super Santa 2020 crate, 1 Lunar New Year crate, 1 Stellar container, 1 Golden Week 2021 crate, 1 Summer Big crate, 1 Winter Big crate, another Summer Big crate. Why they haven't bundled those two together, I don't know. And then obviously you get the ZF6. Now, with Amity backing, the total amount of value of the campaign is 76,665 doubloons. Now, if we do the Go Compare, looking at in comparison to previous campaigns, so by getting Amity backing, you're basically getting an additional 60,165 doubloons worth of content for the cost of 2,500 doubloons, and the total value of the rewards from the campaign that you will be receiving without Amity backing will be 21.52%. So looking at this, it seems that without Amity backing, you're getting a below average amount of rewards. Considering with Amity backing, you are getting an above average amount of rewards. The difference, it's an above average difference by about 10,000 doubloons there, and the percentage of the campaign, percentage of the rewards that you'll be receiving without Amity backing does seem to be a bit below average, about let's say 5 to 6%, depending on how you want to round that. So that seems quite interesting. Jump into back to the desktop. Pixelmug, I'm happy we finally get a campaign DD, but are tired of all the German premium destroyers. Give it time. I think this is the thing. Like, sometimes there's certain things that are going to sell. Like, if you take a look at the most played ships for tier 4, 5, and 6, you'll note that they're all American, Japanese, and German, and that's because those are the nations that sell. Ironically, even if those ships that appear in the most played of all those tiers are actually underperforming, which is quite ironic. I think it's just when people are new to the game, they flock to certain nations, and those 3 nations seem to be the 3 that most people flock to. Vaz, look how cheap the campaigns have been this year. Oh, go on then. Let's bring that back up. Let's see. You've got 16, 15, 28, 15, 16, 16,000. Total value 76, 71, 68, 69, 67, 69. Yeah, no, that's actually quite interesting, because if you consider, like, last year, March, let's see, what's been highest? I mean, this is probably the highest value campaign that we've had so far this year. Obviously, it's not touching anything like the peak that we saw in November 2020 with the 91,000 doubloon rewards. But yeah, there's not many in 2020 that actually peak higher than this patch. I mean, the ones that peak higher would be July 2020. December 2020 and November 2020. So I wouldn't say it's massively different. And actually, if you look back over 2020, there's quite a few which are only like 51 and 57 and 50. So I wouldn't say the campaign totals for this year have been generally low, but I'd say they've been more averaged, I guess you could say. They're not massively different from each other, whereas like from the previous years, the values seem to be you can go as low as 50,000, as high as 91,000 within a year. Whereas this year so far, we've gone as low as 67 and as high as 76. So it's more aggregated, like I say. October was the Commander campaign, so that one is an outlier. October 2019, October 2020. Probably October 2019, I think. That's way back. Anyway, we jump back to the stream. Yeah, this is easily the best campaign of the year. I wouldn't say it's sad that it's the best campaign of the year. I think they peak at certain times of the year for certain reasons. So obviously the American alternative battleships are now becoming fully researchable. So if you did not get them as early access in the container, they're now completely researchable. Obviously the creme de la creme, the tier 7 tech tree, the Kansas, which seems to be an evolution of the Colorado, is obviously coming to the game. For the first time that people are going to be able to play her. Now, obviously, she's got 12 16-inch guns. She's pretty slow, which is what to be expected. Top speed of only 20.5 knots, which is pretty rough. She has got defensive AA fire consumable, which seems quite interesting. However, you have to choose this as part of your options when you're picking between the spotter aircraft, the catapult fighter, or the enhanced secondary targeting. So depending on the popularity of carriers might affect your overall choice. Obviously the catapult fighter has a dual purpose because it does do some spotting while resisting aircraft. Spotter aircraft enhances targeting, but it's only up for a short duration. Enhanced secondary targeting if you're going to be getting close, and she does have quite a few 5-inch secondaries. And then defensive AA, maybe if you're expecting more carriers, maybe if you're playing with a commander, with a carrier, I should say. Italian editions, obviously they're introducing some Italian destroyer commanders, which is something that I wasn't necessarily expecting. Now, I don't want to have a go at trying to pronounce these names. I know I'm going to mess them up. But first of all, let's start off with what I think is interesting, but I don't see like an alternative for it, which is Rizzo. Now, his base trait is the Great Escape, which increases the duration of your engine boost by 8% and reduces its reload time by 4%. Now, as a base trait, maybe if you're looking at taking like go all out on the French destroyer commanders, maybe having Rizzo as an inspiration could be interesting to obviously reduce that reload time and improve that duration of the engine boost when you're using that skill. And Rizzo's second row trait, so obviously you have to consider that this trait, you're going to have to be choosing this over Look At Me Now, I believe. So obviously, if you're going to be picking this trait, you're going to be picking it over the ability to reduce your detectability. Now, I just want to quickly confirm that. Yeah, so yeah, basically, usually this trait at your second tier, usually you go for Look At Me Now. However, instead you can go for an increase the duration of your engine boost again and improve the torpedo damage. I'm not necessarily. I don't really think this is a strong trait. I don't think it's strong enough to justify taking it over Look At Me Now, in all honesty. Right, and now on to the other Italian commander, which is Flogoisi. I've really pronounced that probably very wrong. His base trait's In the Fog. Now, this increases the duration of smokescreen by up to 10%, which is very interesting. His second row, obviously this is in counter to Look At Me Now, and whatever other skill they place at that range, is it's called Squid's Ink, and this increases the duration of smoke generator by 20 to 50% at the cost of a shorter smokescreen dispersion, minus 50%. So the duration is how long it takes for you to lay a smokescreen. So obviously, if it's, for example, if it took you 17 seconds to lay a smokescreen, you could increase that to a total, say 27 seconds, with the maxed out base trait and second row trait. and obviously reducing dispersion is how long that smoke screen is going to sit around for. Now, this could be interesting if it is applicable to exhaust smokescreen, which is on the Italian cruisers. And this is why I'm saying if it was 17 seconds, it becomes 27 seconds. That's something that seems to be very interesting because the Italian exhaust smokescreen on the cruisers has a duration of 17 seconds. And so if you maxed out this Italian destroyer commander and put him on the Italian cruisers, you could potentially increase the duration that your exhaust smokescreen lasts up to 27 seconds, which could be rather interesting. Especially if there's other skills within the commander which will improve your smokescreen duration as well, such as smoke on the water. So this could be quite an interesting one when it comes to the Italian cruisers. Vaz, sorry, I've been a heavy critic of the last couple of campaign awards. They pump up overall values and trivial amount items like Commander XP and Commander XP boosters. Yeah, that's fair. That's why usually when I look at the campaigns, I really focus on what I call the important stuff. Pixel seems like it could be interesting when combined with high-tier British destroyers. Potentially, yeah, you could maybe this inspiration could be useful for those who aren't using or even are using Reginald Tywit as a commander. Mike is coming now and more interesting with the smoke commander. Yes, very interesting. Anyway, jumping back, obviously we have the Paulo Emilio coming. She's now apparently got a very respectable HP pool, easy to use guns, powerful torpedoes. Now, at the moment on time of launch, she is coming with a standard smokescreen. However, this is subject to change, which is going to be interesting. It looks like the wargaming community managers, in fact, I'd say even the wargaming community and the wargaming community contributors are all pushing the dev team to change that smokescreen to an exhaust smokescreen, just to try and just bring some of those shenanigans that obviously they have been able to enjoy on PC. It's going to be interesting how much different she is going to be from the PC version. Is she going to be a meme ship, or is she going to be somewhere in between? It's going to be interesting to see. She is going to be available for 750,000 global XP. It's one that I've got my eye on. I have to be quite honest. She does seem quite tempting, and I might have to take a look into that. And that's all I can say at the moment. But yeah, might be able to see what we can do with her on Monday, I guess we could say. Jumping back to the desktop stream, obviously, as I've already alluded to, there is a redeem code here. Now, this is down in the description of this stream, along with a link to the Redeemer. This will grant you 2 basic containers and 12 Virgin Marina camos. So for those of you who haven't already claimed it, it's down there for ease of use. Also, down in the description is a link to the patch notes. So if you want to read along, then feel free to do so. Moving on to Archipelago of Blue Steel. I believe I pronounced that correctly. And I should be able to jump to, there you go. A nice big close up. So this is another anime collaboration by Wargaming. Now this is something that did come to the PC, I want to say like around New Year. I want to say about January-ish. So obviously it's been a bit delayed, but the collaboration has come to World of Warships. Now, it's basically got... there's 2 new ships, but they looked to be just reskinned premium Congos at tier 4. There's also a new camo for the tier 7 Japanese cruiser, the Otago, which I believe the Otago is available for global XP as well. So potentially if you get the camo and you have the ship, or you're looking to get the ship, it could be quite interesting. Now obviously I think these camos are coming as a grade 1. Now furthermore, there's going to be 5 commanders, which does seem interesting. We're not sure what nations those commanders are going to be assigned to. Obviously with obviously it being a Japanese anime and Japanese ships, I would expect a majority of these commanders to go to the Japanese nation. However, it would be interesting to see if we do get some of these commanders for some of the other nations or not. So wait and see, I guess. I'm sure more information will be forthcoming. It says find all details in our special blog post and make your choice. But I haven't been able to find that blog post. If that blog post does exist and someone has been able to find it, please feel free to share it in the chat. I might even actually discuss it if I can find it. I guess it'd be on Reddit. Maybe or maybe I'll do that when we get towards the end, and I might have a quick scrounge around on Reddit while I put a slideshow in the background. Now, obviously, Legendary Birthday is coming to the Bureau, same as it did last year. This is just going to be a way to collect what they call the retro containers, which is just containers from previous campaigns. So, nothing really different there. Nothing exciting, in all honesty, but at least it's something, and especially considering that people who have been grinding the Bureau are probably going to be finishing the Kleber and the Worcester. Either they have completed them very recently or will be completing them recently, and those of you who have been grinding the Bureau since its release will probably won't have any Bureau projects apart from the Oklahoma, so I guess this is something to use your premium account Bureau ability on. However, I expect it to be quite a short one, so it might be something that could be potentially completed in a single patch, or maybe over two patch. Probably in a single patch, really, in order to actually complete it all. Now, here's some of the big changes: is what they're doing to ranked here. So we're actually getting 3 seasons of ranked this patch. We're looking at seasons 14, 15, and 16. Seasons 14 and 15 are going to be weekend sprints, while season 16 is a full week-long free league system. Now, in this season of Ranked, we are seeing the initial first run of Ranked with arms racing, very much like we saw with the Arena in the last patch. Season 14 utilises tier 16 does tier 5, 6 and 7 ships. So tier 5 ships in League 3, tier 6 ships in League 2 and tier 7 ships in League 1. Now obviously expect the not the restrictions, but maybe some of the rules in regard to each league to change like I did last time. So if you remember, in League 3, the top 2 players on the losing team kept a star. In League 2, the best player on the losing team kept a star. And in League 1, no players retained a star. It's going to be interesting. It's nice to see them mixing it up. It's how arms race mechanic is going to affect ranked and how it's going to be incorporated is going to be interesting to see. Where are the consumables going to be located? Is it going to be both sides have this equal opportunity to collect the same ones, or will it be something where it's all going to be a bit crazy? No, it's going to be a bit of a wait and see. Hello, Casey. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good day. Now. So obviously, this is one thing that I've noticed about this patch. There seems to be a lot going on, but they're not offering a lot of details up front. The trailer was basically a pretty fireworks display, and even though we got patch notes and it does go into some detail in regards to some of it, it doesn't go into a lot of detail. Like, we don't really know what the rewards are going to be for ranked battles. We haven't really got any images or any details. So that seems to be some of the interesting things I'm noting with this patch. Balance changes. First of all, they talk about matchmaking, where now you can finally division up a legendary tier ship with a tier 7 ship. So now, as I basically alluded to in Wales Weekly, basically what that means is if you're a cruiser player and you don't really like the Worcester and the Alaska, or you haven't got them, and you want to play a cruiser but your mates want to play in their Yamatos and stuff, at least now you can still division up and you're not kind of forcing their hand to have to actually not play, or you not be able to play with them. Furthermore, this could be interesting because this could really affect tier 7 damage records. Because now, if you want to enhance a tier 7 damage record, it'll be quite easy to division up with a couple of legendaries in a tier 7 and try and rake in that damage, which is quite an interesting one. So that's going to be like almost the other side of the coin. I think one thing that especially British Destroyer Commanders, French Destroyer Commanders, and the Italian Premium Destroyer Commanders will be quite intrigued with is this new Commander skill called Perceptive. Now, this skill increases the visibility of enemy torpedoes. That sounds good. It reduces incoming damage to your destroyer. That sounds very good. Shows the direction to the closest enemy ship. That's very good. That's literally, for some people, that can be a make or break thing. I know that some people are very reliant on twist and track and won't play a nation if it doesn't come with twist and track. And I think it's quite an interesting one. Now, it doesn't say it here, but I can confirm that it will be appearing in the third slot. For example, talking about Philip Vane, your options of your third slot are something that affects your torpedo reload time, something that affects your gun accuracy, and then you've also got standoff 4. So this is going to be like a fourth ability within the tier 3 slot of the commander. So for those of you who do play destroyers, just look at your destroyer commanders at the moment and think about what you might be trading out in your third slot in order to take this perceptive skill. Now, the interesting one is obviously, for me, this means it's coming to Reginald Tywit, who is my British light cruiser commander. So the question is, do I get rid of Torpedo Safari, which improves my torpedo range in my cruiser, to have the potential ability to reduce incoming improve the visibility of torpedoes and point to the direction of the nearest ship. Obviously, you won't get the reduction of the incoming damage to your ship because obviously it says the word destroyer. So that could be quite an interesting one, and maybe I might have to give that a little testing as well. Let's see. Mike X Gaming says ranked, yes. Looking forward to ranked. Pixel, I don't normally care about ranked, but it should be interesting to see which ships get picked over others of the same class, such as Atlanta/Flint or Helena and Boise. That's very true. Admittedly, Atlanta versus Flint, that's very much a question, do you want radar or do you want smoke? Helena versus Boise, you probably prefer to go for the Boise because the Boise does have an enhanced repair party. Mike X Gaming, Helena for me, mostly, or York, interesting choices. Personally, for me, tier 6, I'm going to be going for the Fiji. Vaz, I wonder if it will replace Twist and Track on commanders that have the ability. No, it won't be replacing Twist and Track. Commanders with Twist and Track will still retain Twist and Track. So, in the case of, say, the Germans, the Russians, and the Americans, and the Japanese, it's going to be a question, do you want to take Perceptive, which still points to the direction of your nearest enemy ship, but increases the visibility of incoming torpedoes and reduces the incoming damage to your destroyer? Or do you want to take Twist and Track, which improves your turret traverse? So potentially, say on the Japanese and the Germans and the Russians, you might still want to keep Twist and Track because obviously your turret traverse is quite slow. However, on the Americans, you might maybe want to switch to Perceptive. So it's all an interesting. It's an interesting trade-off. Do you want turret traverse or do you want do you want an active ability or passive ability? Pixelmug, Burke with Twist and Track seems like it could jack up the number of fire build Fletchers. That sounds like quite interesting. Like a scheming, ooh yeah, Fiji, nice pick. Yeah, my usual. I think for tier 5, I mean, there's. Let's be honest, chaps. I usually play ranked in a division. My go-to division buddy is Sax. Also, you'll probably see him as one of the moderators, Salty Sax. He usually plays a destroyer. I play a cruiser, and the combination is probably no secret. Although it's going to be interesting to see if Sax changes his choice, considering the perceptive skill. But our usual go-to for tier 5, well, for tier 4, it's T-22 and Fair Attacker. I'm the cruiser, he's a destroyer. Tier 5, it's the Guardian and the Exeter. For tier 6, it's the Z-35 and the Fiji. And for tier 7, it's going to be interesting to see where we go with that, because obviously we haven't played tier 7 ranked before, so this is going to be the first seasons of tier 7 ranked. Continuing with the balance and changes, significant changes to carriers at tier 7 only, mostly affecting the aircraft groups. So with the August 1 Parcel, the number of aircraft in the strike groups has increased from 6 to 9 dive bombers and 8 torpedo bombers. Now the number of aircraft going into the strike is 3 dive bombers and 2 torpedo bombers. So obviously reducing the number of aircraft going in for the strike. Obviously, this changes when they're fully upgraded. So for the Germans, your squadron will increase to 9 torpedo bombers, and your strike group increases to 3. and so on and so forth. So for the Shikoku, it goes up to 9 with a 3 drop unit of dive bombers. For your torpedo aircraft, it goes up to 8 with 2 for the strike group. For the Lexington, 8 for the dive bombers and 2 for the strike group at base, and that goes up to 9 and 3. And for the torpedo aircraft, you're looking at 8 and 2, going up to 9 and 3. So for the Lexington, it doesn't really seem too much change. She just basically get an additional strike group for her flights, regardless of the composition. With some of the others, there's little changes. Oh, we're just talking about you, Sax, as well. Good to see you, good to see you. Hopefully your ears weren't burning too much. Now, when we're talking about what this overall impact, so what this means is obviously the aircraft carriers are going to be able to get more strikes off if their aircraft are completely unmolested. However, if their aircraft are being molested, expect more aircraft to be shot down. The reason being is because the overall squadron's HP remains largely the same. So the aircraft, there's more aircraft, but they're generally weaker. So therefore, individually, they're more likely to be shot down, but as a mass, it's about the same. My Gaming battleship I go for is North Carolina for tier 6. Fair enough, fair enough. Pixel, depending on how many carriers we see in ranked, might mean USN destroyers become a bit closer, a better choice with their AA. At the moment, obviously it's not ruled out here, but I suspect that carriers aren't coming to ranked. Obviously, because at tier 6 you can't have a carrier. When it's a league, you'd end up with like just tier 5 and tier 7 carriers. There's no mention of carriers. I doubt they will want to introduce carriers to ranked, especially considering the recent balance changes. I suspect that when it comes to aircraft carriers in ranked, it's going to be a little while yet. However, I'll be quite happy to eat my own words should that change when the actual notes regarding ranked comes out. And the first season of ranked starts on, when does it start? July the 29th, so it does start the following weekend. So we might see some notes regarding ranked coming out before then, before the 29th, probably on the 27th. Now I've covered that, so where were we? Then remove the least used skills on the Universal Commanders. So for Togo and Dewey and Shear, they are losing on Second Thought and Smoke on the Water. Okay, fair enough. I did used to like using Shear as a German destroyer commander, and in fact, I think I'm using Togo as a Japanese destroyer commander as well. So ironically, that's actually affecting me. Regarding Jericho, Von Essen, Louis de Fonant, and Campino, they're losing barely out of peril. Now, losing barely out of peril basically only really affected RAM builds. The problem is it's just very niche, I guess you could say. Mike Exclaim, no carriers in rank, please. No, not now. But I suspect that they might dabble it in the future. So I think it'd be a wait and see, but not this patch. I doubt it anyway. Miscellaneous changes. Big Race now has the Epicenter game mode on. Now I would take it that this is actually testing of the Epicenter game mode, and it's introducing it on a very low tier, basically a very low tier map. So it's you can see it in tier 4 battles. So you might see it. It's basically tiers. Usually you see this one about tier 2, 3, and 4. So you're not going to see it in tier 5 ships. So they're introducing basically a new game mode on a existing map. Only for low tiers. I suspect this is more like testing, which will probably be changed at maybe introduced more often, I guess you could say. Ship filters, and I do have a nice little slideshow for you. Basically, they're updating the filters, which allow us to search our ships when in the port, and also when browsing commanders and inspirations. It looks like it's a slightly more cleaner checkbox system, where it's a lot more obvious what you're claiming, because basically rather than the box being the item that you're selecting, is more like a checkbox underneath it, which is quite interesting. Hopefully this makes it a little bit cleaner. And then when it comes to selecting inspirations, obviously with the amount of commanders in the game, if you include all the collaboration and event commanders and stuff like that. Now that list of commanders is getting very long, especially when you consider at the moment in the screenshot that probably will cycle past you at some point. It's showing 58 commanders in total. So obviously being able to select what their trait focus is on is quite interesting, whether it's destroyers, cruisers, battleships, or carriers. Whether the universal, I think the universal commanders will show up regardless. It would appear so. Like even though here is selected battleships, you can see that Dewey and Togo are turning up, and they're the universal commanders, which is quite interesting. So it's interesting to see that they're making it a bit easier to navigate, which makes sense, I guess. As the game grows, they need to do these little quality of life changes, which will just make it easier to navigate around. I think it's just an ongoing thing that we're always going to be expecting, little quality of life changes. Going back to the patch notes, obviously we have now there's this thing about spawns where they're trying to should be more symmetrical, with fewer situations occur where a ship is alone at a spawn location. However, it doesn't rule out the possibility. So it should be fewer situations, but it might still happen. Is what they've done there, but hopefully that might balance things out a little bit more than it has been the previous couple of patches. Introducing a new medal, Clear the Skies, which is awarded for shooting down 20 aircraft in a battle. It's going to be interesting to see if there is associated reward for collecting that medal. So as you may know, if you collect medals in games such as Devastating Strike, First Blood and things like that, it does reward you with booster flags. Now then, what type of booster flag and the amount of booster flags you get varies depending on the medal, but it is, for me, usually an economical way to earn common battle booster flags. So it'd be interesting to see if Clear the Skies medal does award you a flag, and it's going to be interesting, like, what will it be and how many. I suspect it would just still be like a common battle booster flag. Now, with the campaign, the interface has been improved and streamlined, but we haven't been able to see it. Aircraft stats and the loadout have been shortened, but I wasn't really looking too much into the aircraft stats. Ship consumables that can be switched are now made more obvious. Hopefully that should mean we should start to see less Russian cruisers not equipped with radar. I don't know why on a Russian cruiser you would want to have the catapult fighter, but you see it quite often. Now, this is quite an interesting quality of life fix. It's the ability to open all containers or multiple containers at once. So if you have lots of containers, it's simply going to be hit the X button on the Xbox or the square button on the PlayStation, and it'll open all the containers that are in your inventory, and then the rewards will pop up in a window, and this window may be broken down into numerous pages should the number of containers be quite large. Now, interesting, spotting ribbons is now being awarded to all ships of all classes, including spotting aircraft and catapult fighters from ships of other classes. So this is a nice, again, a quality of life change. Obviously, when they introduced it for carriers, I was a little bit disappointed because I want to see it on all classes, so it's good to see it's coming to all classes. Additional historical camouflages, Type 9, available for paint. So that's the Baltimore, the Bismarck, the Hipper, the Z-23, the Richelieu, the Charles Martel, the Shikoku, and the Lexingtons. Pretty much all tiers, I think, yeah, they're all tier 7s. Tier 7 American heavy cruiser, German battleship, German heavy cruiser, German destroyer, French battleship, French heavy cruiser, Japanese carrier, Japanese, American carrier. And of course, it just shows the Bismarck here. Which looks like quite historically accurate camouflage for the Bismarck, probably on her way out to the North Atlantic. Bug fix wise, German squadrons can now fly until they're shot down or the battle is over. So basically, the German aircraft would basically die at a certain point. Unlike the Americans and the Japanese. However, it's worth mentioning here, it says, as per other nations, this may be changed in the near future. So at the moment, obviously, as a carrier, once your carrier sinks, any aircraft you have in the sky actually stay flying until they're shot down. And if you're operating those aircraft, it means as a carrier player, you can actually keep playing the game, helping your team by doing spotting, even when your carrier is sunk. So it's going to be interesting to see whether this but it says it may change, so it'd be interesting to see if this does change. I kind of hope it does. They should really make a timer, but like a 2-minute timer or something, or else like a carrier who can do spotting for the rest of the game. Can be a little bit potentially overpowered, I guess you could say. There's this bug regarding that some squadrons remained invisible to the player for several seconds after taking off. They made some change to the description of the last conquest camouflages for Hood and Bismarck. It's probably because so many people will complain that they're not. I think basically, I think the camouflages were titled to be historical camouflages, but actually they're historically inspired camouflages. At least for the Bismarck, for the Hood, it's historically made up camouflage. So it's interesting to see that they've made those changes. Also regarding the Rhine, she now has 10 torpedo bombers in the hangar rather than 9. So all in all, it seems. I think there's more positives than negatives. There's lots of quality of life changes, and they're definitely playing around with some different mechanics. Premium ships wise, there's 2 tier 4 premium battleships, there's 2 tier 7 premium destroyers, but one of them's campaign, one of them's global XP, and the other two don't really excite me. So premium ship wise, it seems a little light, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's generally, I'd say it's a positively received patch. I think if I was going to rank this, I'd give it 7.5 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10. It's like there's not a lot of negatives. There's not a lot of things that have annoyed me or anything like that. Seems to be generally positive information, but there's a lot of information missing. I would like to see maybe a bit more of a breakdown in regards to the ranked awards. I'd like to see maybe a bit more of a breakdown what's happening with the archipelago of blue steel stuff. And it would have been nice maybe to see a bit like an example breakdown of one of the Italian destroyer commanders. But apart from that, it seems to be generally positive stuff. Anyway, chaps, any queries or questions or thoughts, and then we can bounce back and forth. And if there aren't anything within the next 5 minutes, I will probably call that the end of the stream and pop the fan back on because it's getting torturously hot inside this office room. Anyway, catch up with the chat. Mike is saying I'm getting that camouflage for the Bismarck. Don't blame you. That camouflage does look very pretty. In fact, let's bring it. Let's go grab that German camouflage and have a look at it. Now, usually this doesn't work when I do this, but well, oh, there we go. So there's the Bismarck. Yeah, so that is quite a nice camouflage. So she's got. Basically, she's got a darker sea grey at the front, and then she's got a false bow wave. So this basically would deceive the kind of like speed of the ship because the bow wave would disappear within that. She's also got these black and white stripes. Now these historically, I believe, actually went all the way up the ship rather than just here and there. The reason why they went all the way up the ship was the idea was it was to try and break the silhouette of the ship. So it means if you looked at it, it could potentially make it slightly more difficult to identify the ship. So that side of it is a little bit historically incorrect. That black and white, I think, should go all the way up, say the superstructure and stuff, just try and break it up. But in all, it looks quite nice. Mike X going, zombie planes, why wargaming, why? I know what you mean, but like at least they're acknowledging that it's one of those things. It's like if it's there but not a lot of people are using it or exploiting it, then I can understand why maybe they don't want to do anything. But I think as more people realise and exploit it, obviously it then becomes more of a thing that they then need to counter. So hopefully zombie aircraft will be coming to a demise soon. Online DNG, I think this update's kind of useless. What is there that's important? Probably all the quality of life changes, in all honesty. And this is the thing, like, sometimes obviously having some big content is going to be what pushes it, and I guess the big content here is obviously the ZF6 and the Paulo Emilio, but also there's all the little quality of life checks and things like that that do need to happen with the game, and obviously everything's going to take development time, and if you throw your development team into constantly making the big shiny stuff that's going to help push the game, the downside is obviously the quality of life starts to suffer. So obviously expect this to like to and fro, and maybe we'll have a big campaign where we get lots of stuff. And the thing is, we have had that for the past couple of patches. We have been spoiled, so I think having a bit of a cool down, having a bit of a quality of life patch, but also there's still a lot of stuff going on. You've still got ranks, you've still got a collaboration, you've still got a campaign, and there's also going to be lots of additional mini rewards and stuff. And at the end of the day, I can see why maybe they don't want to go for a full blowout patch, because obviously it is the summer holidays. Not everyone is going to be home all the time, and if you go for a big blowout patch where people feel like they have to play every day, that's going to kind of put people who go away on holiday, get away from the house and stuff, at a disadvantage. So I think it's the right patch for the right time. In is my way of putting it. Micah's Gaming, they should reconsider the rolling smoke. Is that the rolling smoke on the Paulo Emilio? It is being reconsidered, and I hope it does get changed to the exhaust smoke screen. I really think that'll be a lot better. Vaz, the little quality of life changes are very much appreciated. Yes, I'd have to agree. They said there will be lots of sales too. That's the thing. There's still lots going on at the end of the day, and I think I can't really complain too much about that. Obviously, basically what we got is access to the new camouflages. If I just go through it, like the images, quality of life changed, quality of life changed. That's a quality of life change. That's a collaboration. That's a new ship coming to the game. Quality of life change, I would say. That's basically the tech tree now becoming completely coming out. Obviously, we've got the campaign, and that's everything. Mikey's Gaming, a question, Major. Are they working on training rooms? I can't say anything due to NDA, but then by me saying I can't say anything due to NDA, that might allude to something. So, at the end of the day, the community wants it. The community contributors want it. The community managers want it. Okay, so I think there's enough push coming from the community towards the developers to introduce it. And so let's wait and see, but I can't say too much. Mudkicks Gaming and the turret bug, have they fixed it? It's being monitored, is the best way to put it. I've obviously, I what's being publicly said is they're working on it, they're reviewing it and stuff. There is some stuff happening behind the scenes, but that is covered by NDA, so I can't say anything in regards to that either. But I trust me, it's being looked at, and they're I gotta be very careful. This thing. And all I can say is they're looking at it. I can't allude any more than that, unfortunately, chaps. Casey, glad all ships gonna get spotted ribbons now. Yes, that's very interesting. It's good to see that they're working on making that evident, because obviously when you're in a non-carrier game, if you're a destroyer, getting now as a destroyer, you know you're helping your team by getting the spotting ribbon. Now, obviously, with the spotting ribbon is only rewarded for the first time that that ship is spotted. So, in each game, there's only a maximum number of, say, 9 spotting ribbons that can be collected by each team. So, that's it's a shame it's not every time a ship's spotted, but then again, I guess that could be gained a little bit or gamed a little bit, where you just like spot and unspot, spot and unspot, spot and unspotted the same ship. So obviously it's only rewarded for the first time a ship is spotted, so there's only 9 available. But for destroyers, that's going to be nice, because now you know at the start of the game you're helping your team. Mike Excaren, that's all we needed to know, thanks. That's alright. Oh, right, any more for any more? If not, I mean, I might just bring the Paulo Emilio up. Uh, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this, and it seems generally positive that her smoke screen may be reworked to an engine's exhaust smoke screen, which does look will sound very interesting. But yeah, she looks very nice. Nice camouflage scheme as well. That's what I like. Anyway, any more. If not, we will go to the brand new stream exit, and what I'll do then is put the fan back on and turn the microphone off, so you don't have to listen to the fan, because it is sweltering hot here in the UK. As always, I might as well ask very nicely if you could give the stream a thumbs up. That obviously helps, and if you could well, obviously, like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Um, and obviously, if you're not a subscriber, feel free to subscribe. And if you are subscribed, let's say thank you very much. Casey, oh, so only 9 ribbons per match per side. I didn't realise that. Yes. Let me just jump back to the desktop stream and scroll down to where is it? There, the detected ribbon, awarded whenever you're the first to spot an enemy ship, has now been added to all ship types and their consumables. Previously, you could only receive the spotting ribbons while flying your aircraft squadrons. So it's whenever you are the first to spot an enemy ship. So that basically first to spot is how I'm interpreting that. So the first time the enemy ship is spotted, a ribbon is rewarded. After that, if that ship goes undetected and redetected, there's no more ribbons to be gained out of that. Micah's Gaming, they should give us point indicator when destroyer spotted. I know on PC there are things like spotting damage indicators. Basically, that's how much damage is accrued due to your spotting. If I would like that to come to Legends. I think it's probably on the to-do list. If not, it's probably worth raising it in the community manager live stream. That is something that the player base is interested in. And even if it's not in game, if it was on the end screen, that is definitely what I'd like to see. Vaz, you can get the spotting ribbons in AI currently, which is strange. Oh, that's interesting. Personally, I haven't been playing AI for a good while now, so that's quite interesting. Maybe they were just testing it here and there. Roger that. Rightio. Any more for any more? If not, it's getting a little hot in here. And no, I won't be taking off all my clothes if that's what you're singing. Mike is gaming for destroyers players to see it's worth spotting. Yes, definitely. That's the thing. Like now for destroyers at the start of the game, there's this definitive way of identifying that you're contributing to your team. So hopefully it should see a reduction of destroyers who want to dash off to the side. Hey Sax, yeah, I did a few CV games for the Bureau, so that's how I found out. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Thanks to the stream measure as always. No, thank you, thank you. I will quickly jump to the stream exit where hopefully the music will play. Yes. So we should have some nice quiet music in the background. Vaz, wrap it up, Major, and go have a cold cup of Bovril. Oh, it won't be Bovril. It'll probably be Fanta and water. Well, a glass of Fanta. I think it's a little bit too early to crack out the Heineken at the moment. But yeah, I will do that. Hopefully, everyone's staying safe, staying well, and looking after yourselves. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who has come along. I'd like to say thank you to Vaz Vegas, Mike It's Gaming, Salty Sax, Casey Siemens, Pixel Mug, good to see you. R9D&G, good to see you as well. Who else did we have? I mean, it's been a little bit quiet, but I don't mind, especially the time, and also it's so hot. Good to see you, Little Line, as well. And Warships for Life. I think that's everyone who came along. Right, yeah, well, until next time, I'm the Gap Major, and back to the port.